I'm here with my grandfather, Jim Newcomer. He was born in 1935 and grew up in Oregon. So, Grandpa, when did you first become aware of there being tension between the U.S. and Soviet Russia?
Well, you know, we all came out of World War II. I was 9 years old when World War II ended. And the Russians have been our great allies. We had a Russian girl in my class in grade school her father was stationed here to bring all the freight from here to Siberia to fight World War II with us. And then after the war, suddenly it all changed. So I became aware of those tensions probably when I was about 10 or 11 years old, but I didn't understand quite what they were.
So how did it all change? What do you mean by that?
Well, when I got to college, when I went from here to New Jersey to go to college, and there was at the time a crazy anti-communist movement going on in the Congress, led by a senator named Gene McCarthy from Wisconsin, and they were persecuting some of the professors in our college, and there was one of the chaplains, the Catholic chaplain on campus, was very much an anti-communist lawyer like Gene McCarthy, and he was going after professors and stuff. So I became aware of it then because it was kind of... And then, of course, at that time we still had the draft, so when I graduated from college I had to go into the service unless I got married. I wasn't ready to get married. And the whole thing going into the American Army was to fight the Cold War. Mm-hmm. So I was, that's how I became really aware of it then.
So you said you were drafted? So you weren't actually interested in going into the military? I
was not interested in going into the military, but I avoided being drafted because if you got drafted, you just went in the infantry or something, and basically painted rocks white, put them in little rows for 3 years or 2 years, then you get out. But I knew if I volunteered for 3 years, I could get language training, and I wanted to study Chinese, so I volunteered for 3 years, and then managed to get assigned to language school. And took Chinese for a year.
So why did you want to learn Chinese? When did you think about that?
I'd been dating this girl at art school in Rhode Island, and she and the other students were interested in the I Ching.
What's that?
It's a mystical sort of way of casting fortunes, but also of gaining understanding about the spiritual life. And so I thought, and then she got rid of me, and so I thought, oh, if I master Chinese and come back up, she'll somehow take me back. It was crazy, but that's how I was just weird that way.
Cool, so did it work out?
No, of course not.
So were you glad you learned Chinese?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and then toward the end of that year in language school, I met your grandmother, and then we got married right away, and I went off to Taiwan. I was sent to Taiwan as a translator.
Cool. So you met my grandmother in language school?
I was in language school. She was in college, yeah. Yeah, we met at the first Monterey Jazz Festival. That's another story. That's not part of this.